And welcome. You're watching Lunchtime News here on News First, where the people come first. Bringing you the news, I'm Mariam Gunawajaya. First up is a look at your headlines.
A massive protest in Colombo demanding solutions to the economic crisis. IMF discussion scheduled for next month. Will the fuel shortage end by this weekend? 100,000 gas cylinders issued to the market. Gas queues and kerosene queues continue. Police take action against gas guzzling Spin Riders Club. Putin lays out his demands in Turkish phone call.
News First with the people.
In your lead story this afternoon, the Socialist Youth Union is staging a protest march under the theme "Say No to Fuel Queues, No to the Indian Takeover of Fuel Tankers and No to the American Takeover of the Yuga Danavi." News First, Disal Kapuge joins us with the latest.
Right, thank you, Mariam. Right now, the protest march organized by the Socialist Youth Union has made its way through the fort area, and now currently it's in front of the President's office. As you can see, they've been blockaded, or barricaded rather, by the Special Task Force as well as the police. Now, I believe the authorities expected the protesters to march towards the agitation site, which is right opposite this area, but however, they broke through the main gate and they have come this far, and right now they've been blockaded right in front of the gates of the President's office. Now, this protest is being organized by the Socialist Youth Union, mainly a part of the JVP, and the youth from across the country have joined this protest. There's around 400 to 500 people already participating in the process, or in the protest rather, and right now they have camped right in front of the gates of the President's office, and they are expecting to issue a list of demands to the President, and they believe, or they are demanding, that they will not leave until the President has given them a favorable response. Now, some of their demands include demanding the government to provide expedited solutions for the crisis and the issues in the country. Some of them include solutions to the massive number of queues that are currently happening throughout the country for fuel, for gas, and also the issues with electricity and power cuts. And they have also made main points about the government's policy to sell out or lend out natural resources of the country. And the protest is urging the government to stop this immediately and to protect the natural resources of the country. They have also built up several demands, especially in focusing on things such as the foreign exchange crisis and the foreign reserve crisis in the country, and they are demanding the government to provide expedited solutions for all of these issues and make sure that the suffering of the people is eased during these troubled times. Now, stay tuned to News First as we bring you more of the very latest updates. For the News First team, I'm Disal Kapuge reporting in front of the President's office.
The general public has started to show displeasure publicly against the unbearable economic crisis that they have to face at present. A protest was held in Payagala in Kalutara yesterday. The protest was attended by the members of the North Payagala Fisheries Forum and their families. The protesters noted, due to the rise in diesel prices, day-to-day life has been impacted severely.
This country is surrounded by sea. The people who afford 3 meals by going to sea are now not even able to afford a single meal. People are staying in queues to purchase oil. Rajapaksa's reign over the country should end now.
What are they doing to the money sent by an expat? There was a significant amount of money found with Nirupama in their accounts. What did they do to that? They don't show. If they find something from the small man, they publish it. In reality, there is no oil shortage. They are hiding stocks. The people who are engaged in massive business does not want any issues. It is the poor fishermen who is impacted. The women who engage in the fisheries industry are helpless along with their children.
Long queues to purchase fuel were seen at the filling station in Flower Road.
For the past few weeks, Sri Lankans have been waiting in queues to pump petrol. Now today, the situation today is no different. Right now I'm at the filling station in Flower Road, where a long queue of vehicles can be seen waiting to pump diesel. As you can see, the vehicle queue stretches to like 500 meters towards Royal College, and apart from that there is a queue of three-wheelers here as well to pump petrol. Now some of these drivers have been waiting here since 5:30 in the morning, and because of this long queue, a heavy vehicular movement have been tense in this area, and because of that we saw a few police officers who were deployed here to control the vehicular movement as well. Now when we spoke to the employees of this filling station, they said that these people, this fuel queue have been here since this morning, and it was here yesterday as well. I'm Senator Senanayaka for News First, where the people come first.
Filling stations in the country have now turned into battlefields. People who were patiently waiting in oil queues are now forced to fight for even a drop of oil.
A similar situation was erupted at a filling station in Trincomalee operated by the Cooperative Service. The situation arose as fuel was distributed over prioritizing the queue. The situation was controlled at the end after the intervention of the police. Meanwhile, long queues were seen at this filling station located in Dematagoda since earlier this morning. The people in Min area are faced with a difficult situation as the filling station in the town did not have diesel stocks for the last 2 days. Long queues were seen near filling stations to purchase fuel since earlier this morning. Many filling stations had run out of fuel as of this morning in Anuradhapura. Diesel and petrol were distributed at a filling station in the town today. Long queues were seen in Kandy and its suburbs due to insufficient stock of fuel at filling stations.
The Ceylon Petroleum Corporation expects that the prevailing shortage of fuel in the country that has resulted in long queues at filling stations will be resolved after the weekend. CPC Chairman, Attorney-at-Law Sumit Vijay Singh has said fuel stocks are currently being distributed to all CPETCO filling stations across the island. He urged the people to pump only the required amount of fuel in a disciplined manner without creating any panic. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Energy says a ship carrying 40,000 metric tons of diesel under the Indian line of credit will reach Sri Lanka on Sunday. Secretary to the Energy Ministry, KDR August, said all relevant measures are in place to commence the unloading process of this shipment on Monday. According to the Energy Ministry, there are more than 55,000 tons of petrol reserves in the country, and this is sufficient to meet the local demand.
Still in local news, the Police Media Division, in a press release issued this morning, noted that while conditional permission had been granted for a vehicle parade, the police had banned the parade due to public outcry and the defiance of conditions agreed to.
The video circulating on social media shows many SUVs had passengers dangerously hanging out of open windows. The police press release further noted that the Spin Riders Club had submitted the request for permission for the vehicle parade that would run parallel to the charitable donation made to the Maharagama Apeksha Cancer Hospital, as well as a donation of supplies to a school in Kalpitiya. Permission had initially been granted by police after collecting the applicable charges after a request was made legally for the vehicle parade to travel from Mirigama to Kalpitiya and then on to Anuradhapura. At a time where there is a critical shortage of oil, we saw yesterday vehicle parades where motorcycles, defenders and many more were on the streets. These facts prove that there are definitely a political malfeasance amidst this crisis, which we highly criticize and is against. Further, we urge the government to avoid engaging in such ventures.
People were seen in queues waiting to purchase milk powder today as well. This was the situation at a milk powder store in Nugegoda this morning. The police had interfered and issued tokens to the people at the store recently. The Litrogas company says more than 100,000 domestic gas cylinders will be distributed across the country today. Litrogas resumed the production and distribution of gas cylinders yesterday after the payment for the gas ships that reached Sri Lanka was settled. According to Litrogas, the unloading process is now underway. Litrogas pointed out that the prevailing shortage of gas in the local market could be reduced in the coming weeks. Meanwhile, Loves Gas told Newsfirst that the production and distribution of its domestic gas cylinders remains temporarily suspended due to the inability to open letters of credit.
Long queues are still seen to purchase gas cylinders in several areas in the country. The demand of kerosene oil has re-emerged following gas shortage in the country. The people are waiting in queues at fuel stations to make food using kerosene oil due to the gas shortage. These visuals were captured at a filling station in Orugodawatha, where people were seen waiting to purchase kerosene oil.
The Public Utilities Commission of Sri Lanka has granted approval for the Ceylon Electricity Board to disrupt the supply of electricity today as well. Accordingly, Groups A to L will experience a 3-hour and 20-minute power cut between 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. and a 1-hour 40-minute power cut between 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. Groups P to W will experience a 2-hour power cut between 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and a 1-hour and 15-minute power cut between 5 p.m. to 10 p.m.
Still in local news, the Ministry of Transport says the recommendations on increasing the train ticket fares in line with the fuel price hike will be received today. Minister Dilum Amanagama said the Department of Railways has been instructed to hike the train ticket fares at the lowest possible rate. Moving on, IMF spokesperson Gary Rice said the International Monetary Fund intends to begin discussions with Sri Lanka on a program to support the country. He said that the country is facing steep currency depreciation and inflation after an unusual bout of money printing to keep interest rates low. He said the authorities have also indicated that they are actively considering an IMF-supported program. Now he added, and I quote, "We will discuss with the authorities how best we can assist Sri Lanka going forward, including during the Minister of Finance's visit in Washington next month," unquote. Meanwhile, a senior government official says the documents seeking the assistance from the International Monetary Fund will be submitted following the return to the Finance Minister and Finance Secretary from India.
India announced a $1 billion line of credit to Sri Lanka yesterday as part of its financial assistance to help Sri Lanka overcome the present economic crisis. Finance Minister Basil Rajapaksa and Finance Secretary S.R. Artigala, who left for India to sign the agreement to extend the line of credit, are scheduled to return today. The senior government official said once the request is forwarded to the IMF, the Finance Minister will travel overseas in April for discussions. The Central Bank of Sri Lanka has also been instructed to explore the possibility of delaying the due loan installments if possible.
News First with the people.
The day to begin the Yalla season is set for the end of this month. Director General of Agriculture, Professor Ajanta De Silva, said the crop management discussion regarding the Yalla season will take place on the 25th of this month.
The Director General of Agriculture noted the required organic fertilizer for the Yalla season, seeds along with advisory, is being provided to the farmers at present. Chairman of the Colombo Commercial Fertilizers Company, Metsiri Vijayagunawardena, noted that fertilizer distribution to Anuradhapura, Matara, Batiklo and 4 other districts has already commenced. 130,000 metric tons of fertilizer is required for this Yalla season, while the chairman of the Colombo Commercial Fertilizers Company further added that the requirement for liquid fertilizer is 6 million litres.
Now taking a look at today's weather forecast. The Met Department says showers or thunder showers are likely over most parts of the island after 2 p.m. Showers could be expected in the Western Province and in the Galle and Matra districts during the morning hours as well. Heavy showers exceeding 100 millimeters are likely at some places in the Sabaragamuwa, Central, Southern, Eastern and Uva provinces and in the Polonnaruwa district. Meanwhile, issuing an amber alert, the Natural Hazard Warning Center says the low-pressure area located in the central part of the southwest Bay of Bengal is now centered over the southeastern Bay of Bengal. It is likely to move towards the Andaman Sea during the next 24 hours and further develop. Accordingly, the naval and fishing communities are advised not to venture into the central parts of the southwest Bay of Bengal sea area. Now shifting your attention towards news overseas. Turkey has positioned itself with great care to be the go-between with Russia and Ukraine, and this seems to be paying off. Yesterday afternoon, President Vladimir Putin rang the Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan and told him what Russia's precise demands were for a peace deal with Ukraine.
Putin said Russia was ready to discuss neutral status for Ukraine 3 weeks into a war that has killed thousands of people and forced millions of Ukrainians to flee their homes. He said that what Russia calls its special military operation was going to plan. Putin has consistently described the democratically elected leaders of Ukraine as neo-Nazis bent on committing genocide against Russian speakers in the east of the country, a line that the West denounces as baseless war propaganda. He said Western countries wanted to turn Russia into a weak, dependent country, violate its territorial integrity, to dismember Russia in a way that suits them. The Russian ambassador to the UN has also rejected reports of atrocities in Ukraine as propaganda. He described allegations that Russia is targeting hospitals and residential areas, including recent accusations that Russian forces bombed a theater sheltering civilians in the besieged southern city of Mariupol as fake. Meanwhile, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky thanked US President Joe Biden for military aid, but said details of Ukraine's tactics will remain hidden from the enemy.
Як вони не знали, що їх буде очікувати і після 24 лютого.
It is not time to reveal our tactics at negotiations for peace, sovereignty and territorial integrity of our state, our will. We are working more in silence than on television, radio or Facebook. I think it's the right way.
І це дозволяє нам захищатись проти повномасштабного удару вже 22 дні.
The UN Security Council meeting that discussed the situation in Ukraine has adjourned. Representatives of Ukraine, the US and the UK, among others, accused Russia of targeting civilian areas and medical facilities in Ukrainian towns and cities. Moscow's envoy dismissed reports of Russian atrocities as propaganda. The head of the World Health Organization is pleading with the United Nations Security Council to work towards an urgent ceasefire in Ukraine. The WHO has now verified 43 attacks on healthcare inside the war-torn country, with at least 12 people, including health workers, killed and 34 injured. Dr. Tedros said that in any conflict, attacks on healthcare are a violation of international humanitarian law.
And with that, it's a wrap of lunchtime news on News First, where the people come first. Thank you for watching. A very good day to you and take care.